Hello. In this episode, we'll take a quick brief overview of prompt engineering. Okay, so prompt engineering has been popular word in recent days. Okay, and finance professionals increase large language model, and there are better way of asking things to the ChatGPT or Claude and so forth um, to analyze data, draft reports, summarize filings, and many other things that we do. Okay. Um, So here we basically summarize some of the basic principles of how to ask to get better results. Okay. So number one, provide specific complete instructions. So tell me about stock valuation is probably um, not that detailed. So we want to be more specific, like as an equity research analyst, explain the key differences of between the DCF and comparable company analysis and so forth. So isn't it? Uh, Explain what to do in exception situations if you can imagine those things. Calculate the price to earnings ratio following the company. If the company has negative earnings, then explain why P ratio is not meaningful, suggest and whatever. Okay. And then explain the output format. So create comparison table, growth investing strategy, column, like you can give the format if it's an Excel sheet like a thing. As for suggestions on your prompts, like requesting feedback helps you iterate on the prompt. So I want to write a prompt that asks the model to evaluate whether a company is good acquisition target. My current prompt is this company good for acquisition target? How improve it? And it might actually suggest a better things, isn't it? So prompt engineering can reduce bias in AI generated responses, and finance probably care about this. Um, in economic decision making, isn't it? So when asking the model to evaluate a loan application or recommend investments, explicitly instructs its analysis solely on financial metric and disclose data rather than assumption about geography, industry stereotypes, and other non-financial factors. Right? Okay. So next we want to see the few shot and chain of thought um, and how they differ. The few shot and chain of thought. So few shot prompting is the multiply with few examples to guide the response pattern. And it's useful to need some output. It gives an idea to the LLM on what you're looking for and classifying company risk, categorizing transactions, scoring credit applications, and give an example kind of help this is. The chain of thought prompting asks the model to reason step by step before reaching a conclusion. So instead of jumping to an answer, model walks through the logic, and it's valuable in complex financial analysis where multiple factors interact, like valuation and these kind of things. So the step-by-step reasoning makes the output more transparent and easy to verify. So here's a for future prompting. Classify the following companies by investment style, and you give an example, and it's a growth stock. Another example, it's a value stock, and so forth, isn't it? Or in the summarizing the on and call highlights, so whatever this kind of thing, and then um, what you think it's a summary and these kind of things, okay? And then you can ask what you want, okay? Or credit scoring, similar thing, isn't it? Well, what kind of things are credit score, risk score one, and what is a risk score four, and things like that. The chain of thought prompting as the model should show using step by step. So here's the profile and gross margin and many things, and then step by step analysis would give you what. Okay, so let's see. So here future prompting. So we give like what can classify the stocks by the investment style, and then we ask for the response, isn't it? So according to this is a value stock. And then for chain of thoughts, what we do is that your credit analysis, commercial bank, and go blah, blah, blah. Think through your analysis step by step, considering each factor before reaching financial recommendation. And then you give all the thing, and then please provide the step-by-step analysis. And so you get the idea. So this is kind of the chain of thought analysis. And then it will take a bit longer. It will actually think and then verify and then further think and do this. So you can see it takes a bit of time, but eventually you get a much detailed, longer report, isn't it? And you can have each steps to be done. Can also have the persona and role parents. Um, So the pattern for LLM has structured techniques for crafting prompts to get specific types of responses. Okay, so setting the role, persona, scenario, and you can steer the model output to be tailored to your needs. So persona pattern, you are senior equity research analyst at Goldman Sachs covering the semiconductor industry, and then write something or audience persona, explain what bond yields curve inversion means and why it matters, written for an MBA student, okay, with no prior fixed income experience, or role playing, like you are our venture capital partner at Sequoia, and then you know, and the flipped interaction pattern. So reverse the roles. You are a financial advisor, ask me questions to determine, and so you can do this for practice. Or gameplay pattern. Let's play quiz game about corporate finance. Ask me multiple choice question covering what is WACC or instructional prompt, provide a step-by-step guide, or combining patterns of many things. Okay, and semantic filter pattern, summarize the risk factor from Tesla most recent 10K filing, focus only on risk-related supply chain and manufacturing, exclude any discussion of regulatory or legal risks. Okay, so you can do this kind of thing. So um, the personas here. So you give here, should a retail investor buy Tesla stock at current prices? And then you give a persona here, isn't it? And then with this persona, it gives kind of an answer. For this persona, it gives a different one. Okay. And flipped interaction. So you can again do this role uh, and then ask as a financial advisor what you get, isn't it? You can do refinement, question, refinement, and verification patterns. So you can question the refinement pattern. What are the main factors? Now focus specifically on, and you can further narrow down. Cognitive verify pattern, ask the model to verify its own output. So it's to catch its own error. Fact checklist pattern. So you give a checklist on this, and then question answering prompt or refinement prompts or comparison contrasting prompts, conditional prompts as for input patterns. And so you can see that there are many ways of basically doing so refined question, broad question, and then refined question. You can do this kind of prompting. So you can get a refined question. Okay. All right. So cognitive verifier. To calculate the weighted average cost of capital for the following company. Show your work step by step. After calculation, verify your result by checking the weights sum to one, and then you can give these kind of constraints to basically check the answers. Again, the thinking takes a little bit longer time, but you can see that step by step it does all these kind of things. And then content creation and structure prompt patterns. So you can provide a template pattern of what you want, or some meta language patterns. So you have a placeholder like here, the portfolio manager name and all this, and do this. Or recipe pattern, provide a step-by-step instruction for the model to follow, or alternative approach pattern. So like this, or outline expansion pattern. I mean, you can have um, multiple kind of, so template pattern is probably very common. So let's see this here. Using the following template, create a stock page summary for Apple, and then it will do things like this. Or um, code example of classification, classify each of the following financial headlines into the categories of this. Uh, so, and then, or data extraction pattern. Okay, so you can see. So there are many ways you can see that the prompting can be done to sharpen your needs. Okay, thank you for watching this episode.